Yeet. So, what is deep culture, and how is the concept different from definitions of culture that are too broad or too simplistic?
Okay, so the meaning of deep culture, it had asked about what is deep culture. So from the reading I had read, deep culture seems deep culture is like the core of understanding intercultural experiences. That's what I had read from the reading. But I remember in primary school, like culture is like the way of life of a group of people. That's what I remember from when I was little. But in the story, it had said that deep culture is like the core of understanding intercultural experiences. That's what I understand about deep culture. What do you guys think?
I read the same definition, so like I get where he's coming from, but he only talked about like three places. Like he went to Mexico and Japan, and I think just growing up here and knowing like um because Polynesia is like they're small countries, but they're still like all different countries, and um and just knowing that much cultures as you're growing up like gives you a broader insight. Like a lot of the stuff he said, I didn't agree with just because I don't feel like everyone is or every American is like um, so close-minded. And I come from a very small town, Kahuku. It's very small, and I think we're like kind of close-minded because we all cheer for our high school and all that. But um, like high school life runs the community. But even us being as small-minded as we are, we have like all the different cultures from Tongan, Filipino, Samoan, just all over here, Tahitian, and like I don't know if it's because of BYU Hawaii, but we have the most interracial kids because they all met each other at BYU Hawaii. So go get them, guys. My thoughts.
Well, for me, like just like you guys said, but like if I can just add one more thing that I think is deep culture, I think it has to do, yeah, with like living a different lifestyle, experiencing something and something different, right? In order to study the culture. Like, for example, on my mission, I went to South Africa, right? That's totally not Polynesian culture. That's African culture. I don't know if it's the whole continent of Africa, but yeah, South Africa. And and the people there are very friendly, very nice, very kind, and they like to sing. And you can see that they have been uh, traumatized by the past. They used to be slaves. Then now they have democracy, but they still have that mindset of uh, hatred towards the white people. Some do, some don't. That depends on them. And so, and as for me, I was just a foreigner, a stranger. I'm not even a part of the culture. But I had to understand the culture. And so how I did that, I just did some deep culture study by just talking to people and asking them about the history, the past, the background, and then I also try to speak the language, right? And and so I can say I have experienced deep culture, right, on my mission, even here in BYU Hawaii.
Uh, yeah, that's so true. Um, so I agree with what you both had said. Um, when I had also like when I went to the Philippines also I also experienced a totally different culture compared to the culture back at home. And from the story also, like, you know how you can, like when you come from the islands, or like you were brought up so totally different, like your family has a different culture, and then when you come to school, or like, for example, if you compare the Polynesian culture to the American culture, right? Like back at home, like you ask really personal questions to your family, or to like the random people that you meet on the street, and usually say hi to them and like bye. But when you come here to the States, like you, like if you say hi to, apart from the Mormons, like the members, like if you say hi to the Mormon Americans, they would say hi back. But if you just say hi to a random American, they would think that you're weird, or they would look at you weirdly, because, or they wouldn't say anything at all, because it's not part of their culture. Like when they grow up, they're like, they always keep to themselves, and they don't like, they don't say hi to strangers and stuff like that. But back at home in my community, because it's a small town, so we usually say hi to everyone, and we talk to everyone back at home. And when I usually go to my mom's village, everyone is like close there, like literally everyone in the village. But whereas for here in America, like you, even though you live in a community for ages, you still don't even know the people who is living right next to you, your neighbor and stuff. Um, so I can see like the difference between the cultures, like from when I was growing up, and like the culture that I grew up with compared to the culture that I see here. I feel like the in the islands, it's kind of the same as the Philippines. When I went to the Philippines, I fit in like really perfectly, because most of the things are the same, the culture and everything, the food and stuff. And if you walking around like as missionaries, they usually ask us like, where you going, like where you guys from and stuff like that. But here in America, if you ask someone that, they would they wouldn't they would think that you're weird or like freaky and stuff. So yeah, I really love my culture. I love learning different cultures. When my brother rang, because my brother is also serving in Africa, and he said that he really loved the African people, even though they struggle a lot, or they had to like walk far to go to church and stuff. But he could see like they're really hardworking people, and they're so kind. They're kind of similar to the Polynesian culture and stuff. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's different. Like where we differ from like the guy who wrote the thing is because he moved there. I don't know, growing up, but all of us were able to like serve missions. I went to Vegas, which is like Polynesian American, so not really different from Hawaii. But there were like we're all just mindful of different cultures. I think in a positive way, whereas some people it's forced upon them and they were just like put in another culture. When he brings up like how deep culture, it's the rules, the framework. The part that doesn't change is each individual plays the game, and then he talks about soccer. It's a stupid song, but I mean it's a great advertisement. Stupid song. There's a song that talks about the rules for different sports, and yeah, I feel like if we're learning someone else's deep culture, then it's just like trying to apply the rules to the game we're playing to their game. And the song brings up like a strike in baseball is bad, but a strike in bowling is great. And just trying to use our own language for someone else's game, it's not gonna be helpful at all. Like that's where stereotypes or misconceptions probably get, originate from, stuff like that. That's all I have to say on that.
Thank you. I would like to talk about something from the reading, the rules of the game, right? That's also a part of deep culture rules. the rules or the framework. And so like you must know the rules of the place where you are going to be, right? Because like you don't spend 24 hours in your apartment or your room. You go outside, and wherever you go, there are rules. Like here at BYU Hawaii, we have honor code. We have other rules that I don't know the names. We have the commitments because we were church members, and but rules that I would like to share with you guys is about the Korean culture, right? Because I'm right into that study, right? I'm in that deep culture study right now, and so it's really important to know the background of Korea, how they were the poorest country in the world. You guys knew that? There were once. It was in
Forest?
South Korea in 1953. That was after the Korean War. They became the poorest country, even poorer than Africa.
That's South Africa, right? Not North,
South,
not I mean South Korea, not North Korea,
that's
or whole
Korea.
of Korea.
Yeah, whole of Korea. But then after the war, they divided north and south.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so I'm just talking about South Korea. So yeah, they were very poor, and they had so they had to be provided. They had to get provisions from other countries like clothes and food and education, all those things. But today, Korea is like the rank as the in the how do you say that power in the world. They are number 9. They are ranked 9. So they went from the last ones to number 9 in like in one as one of the most powerful nations in the world. That's South Korea, and so that's something important to know. And then you need to know that they have problems with Japanese, because Japanese one there was a time when the Japanese took over Korea, and Koreans were slaves to the Japanese. Yeah. So there is so many things to say, but like you guys know of sushi, right? That's a uh, Japanese meal, and the Koreans have something that looks like sushi, but it's not sushi. It's called kimbap. And if you tell, I mean, I did that. I asked the Koreans, "Hey guys, you guys also make sushi?" They say, "No, it's not sushi. That's Japanese. This is our kimbap." Oh, kimbap then. But why does it look like sushi? It's not sushi. And then I thought of the background, and oh yeah, like some of them still hate Japanese. I mean, not really hate, but have problems with that. And so um, that's the thing with like cultural differences, right? With deep cultural studies, sometimes you have like some people have problems with others because of maybe they have their own rules, right? The rules of the game. They're like, no, this is my culture. Don't mess up with me. And the, from the reading, I picked out that's like 3 reasons why uh, some people are just not willing to be open-minded, to open their hearts and learn because of discomfort, of intolerance, and how do you say that, judgmental. So it is discomforting to try to adjust to something completely new, because you have to make some big adjustments, very huge, and that's the process of that we call cultural learning. Like another example, so I so I'm Tahitian, and the Tahiti chapter had organized no, not organized, but they have one of the Tahitians was gonna get married to a Japanese, That was last year. So they asked for help to decorate the cultural hall at the Stake Center. And so I asked she was my fiancée at that time, to come and help us. And so she came. But as she was there, she was observing first the way the Tahitians were working together, right? So us Tahitians, we have our rules, we have our way of decorating. And my fiancée being Korean, and Koreans are Asian, so they were very, very organized, very strict about the way things should be done. And she was observing, and then I look at her, and she was doing just nothing, just looking, and I was helping, but the Tahitian way. I didn't realize that I was doing things the Tahitian way until I talked to her. I said, "Are you okay? Something wrong?" She said, "What are you guys doing?" And I said, "Decoration. That's what we're doing. We're here to decorate." "Yeah, but who's the leader? One talks, the other one talks, the other one talks." And then we go back and forth. "Who's the leader?" I said, "Oh, well, the bride is the leader." So, like, we didn't see things the same way. I saw things with my Tahitian eyes, with my rules, with my mindset of as a Tahitian, where she saw things as a Korean. And then what happened? She ended up going home. And I stayed to finish the work because they needed me and other people. And yeah, and so and then the next day we talked about that issue, and she said, "I don't understand your culture." And I told her, "Well, that's why you need to learn tolerance." And it's okay to, when, like, I didn't, because she was not wrong, right? She was not right. She was just having some personal issues with my culture, with learning this completely different world, and so maybe that was too broad for her, that culture, right? And to me it was just my culture, so it was easy for me to me that was normal anyway. Yeah, that's what I had to share, and I don't know, you guys.
Well, you two are doing really well together, even though you're from two different cultures. I feel a great respect for people who intermarry into another culture, because I feel like they have to try and adjust some of the ways that they live and stuff like that to try and suit the other culture. So I especially, you know how when we go on a mission, and if we are paired up with someone from a totally different culture, someone who is from a different country altogether, and then you two, like, you clash because you don't see things the same way. um like, the way they think is totally different from the way you think, because you were brought up differently. But then I feel like through my mission I learned a lot about being humble and stuff. And now that we're here at BYU Hawaii, and especially for you, you've met a Korean wife, and you two are getting along really fine. So I feel like this gospel here is, like, it's really true, even though, like, um we're all from different countries and all from different cultures and stuff, but this gospel always brings us together. So um no matter how different our culture is, we all still have to humble ourselves, right? I mean, we all love each other. I love you all. And yeah, so I love learning other cultures, even though it can be hard sometimes. I remember learning the language. You know how when I'm in the book, it had said, language learning is a humbling experience, and I really, really testify to what sentence, uh, that sentence had said. Um, it was a really humbling experience for me. Learning the Tagalog language was so hard, but I had some really good companions who had taught me to be humble and to work hard. And if I really wanted to learn the Tagalog language, I had to really go out of my way and try and talk to the people of the Philippines. And yeah, culture is the best way of life of a group of people. I love all different cultures. Yeah, thank you so much. Do you guys want to
Thank
say
you.
anything
This
else?
is
You guys have something to say about the like the other question, the concept different from definitions of culture, too broad or too simplistic?
I think we just discussed it.
yeah. I think the difference between the because we got super specific, like the paper seems to just like make itself where we got language determines um the rules of the game, and the rules of the game show how simpler parts interact to make like the complete whole, which is like the way that yeah. So I think the difference is just that we're able to um, key in on some like specific differences instead of just being like everyone's different. People are people. I think we did enough discussing to like answer that question.
Yeah, and maybe I just would like to quote what he says in uh, that chapter. He says he gives the reason why he's studying deep culture. So he says it helps grow as a human being. It helps me grow as a human being. Yeah, that's what I wanted to quote, and that's true, right? We all like we are all into that study every day, every day. And so the more we learn, and the more we understand about our purpose in life and about the meaning of being human, right? Uh, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I have nothing more to say.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy your guys' weekend.
Thank you. Same to you all. Bye.